Okay.
Hi,
Dana
Fifi.
Whissen, how the hell are you?
I'm good. I'm just recovering from the holidays. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So do you celebrate Christmas? Do you celebrate all the holidays?
Yeah, I celebrate all of them. I even celebrate a few non-holiday holidays,
That's the
which
way to
is every
be.
day.
That's
Yeah.
the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Dana, I first caught wind of you, a
Ooh.
reference to, to your podcast. I first caught wind of you on Tara's open mic.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the improv mic.
yeah, on the Russian roulette, and
Yeah.
let me tell you that the most for me that is the most uncomfortable thing ever in the world. Even like when I go to open mics, like even though it's an open mic, like I like knowing that I'm sixth. I like knowing what I'm going to talk about. I like having an idea who I'm going to follow in case I want to, do a quick callback. I love having all
Yeah.
of that control. And Tara's mic has none of that control. You have no idea when you're going. You have no idea who you're following. No idea how much time you're going to do.
Yep.
What is that? What drew you to it?
Yeah, well, I love improv, and so I love doing improvised stand-up. It took me a long time to get to that because it is scary as hell. And because like you were saying, you also don't know, you can't you you don't know when you can go to the bathroom, because I like going pee a certain number of people before my set. And so now I have to like get up and leave during someone's set. If it's longer than 2 minutes, if it's a 2 minute set, I stay in my chair. I'm like, no, because what if I go up next? But it's terrifying. But I love improv. I feel like my brain works better when it's not structured. So I mean, that's why I still don't really have any of my jokes memorized, because because of Zoom I can just do it with my notes in front of me. But
Right.
yeah, it's difficult, but it's fun.
So I didn't realize when I started doing the mic how much I was going to lean on my improv training once I started doing that mic. And now I absolutely love it because it really is like it's more like an improv game than an open mic to me.
Yeah, what kind of improv training have you done?
So I live in Sacramento, so I've done like I did all of their improv classes. They start with Improv 101 where they just teach the basics of improv. Then in 201 they get into the structure of the herald, and then in
Ooh.
301 you start actually doing a herald, and then they actually have like a 401 where they'll just bring in like games and just different improv stuff. So I've done that. I've done musical improv. Not that I'm great at it,
Ooh,
but
that's difficult.
they did have a
Yeah.
musical improv class that was so much stinking fun. And like, man, how talented are the musicians that accompany the, because we had a piano player, his name was Lincoln Barnett or something like that. And he just played piano and played for us and improvised as we were going. And I'm just blown away at how
Oh,
talented he was. And yeah, but you do improv too, right?
yeah, I do. And I love when people improvise and play music at the same time, or do improvised singing, because that takes so many, you have to use so many different talents at once. You have to get over the fear of improv and singing and acting all at once, and it's crazy. But yeah, I do improv. I used to take improv classes. We had a similar class structure. So level 3 for me was the Herald, and I took the Herald class. Um, I took it a few times. The first time I took it, I cried on stage multiple times in the Herald because I did not get it. I was so confused. I was so embarrassed. And now it's, I mean, I don't know a ton of improv structures, but now I love the Herald. Like, I feel like a lot of my stand-up sets are kind of based in the Herald structure. I think
Mm,
a lot of sets in general are.
right.
Yeah.
So did you do improv first and then move over to stand up, or did you do stand up and then you studied some improv to help you with your stand up?
Yeah, excuse me. I started with just improv, and I did improv. We at the Torch Theater, long form improv school in Phoenix. I did improv there for maybe 5 or 6 years before I even considered stand-up. I honestly thought stand-up comedians were serial killers compared to improvisers, so I stayed far, far away from the stand-up crowd. Now I love them, but back then I was terrified. Um, but yeah, I did improv for a long time, and then I started meeting a few stand-up comics who actually took improv classes, and then I saw them perform, and I was like, oh shit, I can do that. I want to do that. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous that they're so good. And then I just then that's what fueled me to start stand-up. I was jealous.
I what fueled me to start stand up was that like I never was quite good enough to make the Herald team, and I was just always like kind of falling short. And then I saw a couple of people going back and forth between the two worlds, and one of my really good friends, Ali Yeda, who produces the Invisible Disabilities comedy show, I kind of picked up that some of her stand-up sets were some of her improv monologues that had just evolved into kind of a storytelling set. And I was like, hey, I see what you're doing there, you know? And so it seemed to me like, okay, when you're doing like an improv monologue, you're kind of riffing. It's kind of like an open mic. I know not a lot of people's monologues are intended to be funny, but my monologues would always kind of like, if I didn't get a couple of good laughs during my monologue, I was like, well, that monologue failed. And then
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But isn't it nice to kind of go back and forth between the two worlds?
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Hold on a second.
It's all good. Drink up. You got pause. You got the vid? You good?
Oh yeah, I'm good. No, I took a big fat dab right before, and I am not properly hydrated. What was your question? I lost it.
Isn't it nice to be able to go back and forth between the two worlds?
I love going back and forth. And because first of all, I believe that all stand-up comics should be required to take improv classes, a few years worth of improv classes before they start stand-up, like we did. I think so, because I mean, I'm definitely, I don't know, maybe I'm biased, but you know, I've noticed that, you know, stand-up comics were performing as ourselves. We are just one person. So so we get to be selfish. We want to be selfish on stage. And when we're doing improv in a scene, we have to support everyone in the scene. And a lot of stand-ups don't have that kind of attitude. And I think part of it is because they haven't been trained to work as a group and support each other, or have that like group mind or group think in improv. So I love just going back and forth, because stand-up helps my improv confidence, and then improv helps my stand-up sets. And I love doing monologues like you were talking about, like at my old improv school. I don't remember the name of the format, but someone, sorry, there's a lawnmower outside. But someone does like a monologue up top. Maybe it's the Armando format, and then everyone does scenes, like 3 or 4 scenes based on the monologue, and then they keep bringing the monologue back. I forgot what I was talking about. I always do that. I talk about something and then I lose it, and then I hear a lawnmower, and then my brain falls off and walks around the street, and then I'm back. Okay, here I am.
Those goddamn lawnmowers.
I know. I think this one is flying. There's definitely a flying lawnmower controlled by a dinosaur out there. Okay.
I don't anticipate, like, just of what I see of Arizona in cartoons. I just thought it was all desert. There would be no need for lawnmowers.
Yeah, well, our lawnmowers are actually murder weapons. You don't see that in the news because the flying lawnmowers control the news. Boom. Okay.
Okay, and scene.
Thank you. Yay. Oh, I miss hearing and scene at the end of a scene. Yeah. That's like my favorite part of improv. And this is why I enjoy stand-up, because when you have the last line of the scene and you say the final funny line, and then like the lighting guy turns off the lights to end the scene because you said the funniest thing to end the scene. That's a good feeling.
I always hate when you have the timid lighting guy though. That's like, oh, I should have done it then. Oh, I should have done it then.
Oh, that's the worst. And that's a skill too. I've never done the lighting or tech for an improv scene. I would fuck it up. I would totally ruin it.
Yeah, not. Yeah, you would fuck it up, but yeah, I never realized how talented some of the lighting guys and gals are. Like, they are really a part of the show. Like, I produce an improv show called Telenovela, where we improvise a soap opera, and our lighting guy cues like sound effects like dun 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 and like just random stuff. But he really helped. Well, he and she. First, we had a young lady named Claire, and then we had this other dude named Derek. But what they were able to do for that show, like taking it from here to here with what they were able to do with, like, not only with the sounds but with the lights, a good tech person in the booth really can take your show to another level.
Yeah, they really can. And it's a tech person is kind of, they're similar to a host of an actual stand-up show, because you have to pay attention. That's why hosting is hard. You have to pay attention to the entire show. You have to notice what already happened and call it back, or you have to expect what could happen in the show. And I'm not good at that. Like, I'm good at stuff on the fly. If I had to do sound effects for someone's show, I would just use a fart machine at like the wrong time, and it would just be terrible. But thank God for tech people, because they're the best. And I think I see the PP dog ear right behind
She's
you.
right
Is that
there,
what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, PP.
I'm glad you brought up farts, because now,
hell yeah.
Now we could blow our way into that section of the show.
You. Ooh.
Let's talk about your YouTube channel. I watched an episode last night, and let me just tell you that I cannot wait to try the muffling with the big wad of toilet paper.
Yes. Oh my God. I actually learned that trick from an improviser who I used to improvise with. I will not say his name, but yeah, for anyone who's listening now, we were talking about, when you have to go to the when you have to fart and you don't want to fart in front of someone like your boyfriend or your girlfriend, go to the bathroom. And especially if there's no fan or just like no soundproofing in the bathroom, when you have to let out a big fart, just stick a big old clump of toilet paper in your butt as you fart, and then no one's going to hear it. I think he should patent that idea, because I think he can make millions.
I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I mentioned it to them, and they were like, oh yeah, I've done that.
So you haven't done that yet?
No, I have not done that yet. My farts, I can control them pretty good. And here's the thing about my farts, and I have friends who will vouch, they never smell bad, ever.
What? Hold on a second. Okay, first of all, what foods make you fart? What 3 foods make you fart the most?
Oh, you know what makes me super gassy? Pork. Anything pork. Like I won't eat pork on a date. Like, if we're on a date and they're like, oh, let's get the pork fried rice, I'm like, no, let's not. I avoid pork. So pork makes me fart.
Okay.
Brussels sprouts actually make my farts smell good. I don't mind them from Brussels sprouts. And the typical Mexican diet, lots of beans. No more Spanish rice. I broke myself of that. But I eat fairly clean. I'm not eating really clean right now because for the holiday, I came to spend time at my mom's house. So I'm eating all the horrible Mexican food I grew up with. Not horrible, but great tasting, but just not good for you, right? Because the Mexican food was made for people who worked in the fields 12 hours a day, not for people who sat in front of a computer 10 hours a day. So
working off the carbs, working off that energy. That's interesting that you said it's interesting that you said Brussels sprouts make your farts smell good, because one could say that smell is actually one of the worst fart smells, but I'm glad you kind of you see the benefits of that, because Brussels sprouts farts are pretty good.
So let's we went right into talking about farts, and people are probably like, why are they talking about farts? So talk about your show. Is it a podcast? Is it a YouTube show? Because I found it on YouTube, and there's lots of episodes.
Yeah, so
talk about it.
Thank
and your
you.
partner.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry,
that dab.
I know, man. Okay. So it's a podcast. It's called Fart Talk, and it's on Spotify. We also have the video version on YouTube, and it's me and my friend Lex Charday. She's my fartner in crime. Oh yeah, we fart together. And we when we first started the podcast, we would actually get together in person and film at her house, but now that's, don't know when that's going to happen again. So now we stream live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific on YouTube and Facebook, and we just talk about farts. We update each other on our farts of the week and any weird fart situations we've been in. Like, I was followed home by a fart once. That was something we talked about. And then and then we have a guest. We usually have one or two guests who share their fart experiences with us. And now a lot of people want to know, like, hey, you guys are two women talking about farts. Are you guys actually farting on camera? Not yet. We're working up to it. We're working up to farting on camera and into a microphone. I've seen some podcasts that have a fart or a fart mic. I'm very intrigued. So I'm thinking that might be my 2021 resolution, fart into a microphone.
Okay.
Have you ever done that?
Let me tell you about this. Maybe about 3 years ago, I was listening to an episode of Eliza Schlesinger's podcast, and she had Carney Wilson, one of the Wilson sisters from Wilson Phillips. And
yeah,
she records one of her farts every morning. And they spent at least 10 minutes of that podcast playing Carney's farts and just laughing. And Carney was like, wait, listen to this one. And she would be scrolling and she would find one and they would play it. And Eliza would be like, oh my God, I love that one. She's like, wait, listen to this one. And they played about 10 of her farts, talked about them, and I was dying. And Eliza Schlesinger was laughing so hard. I mean, Eliza Schlesinger is such a just down to earth type person, like she was not like, oh my God, you fart. No, she was like, oh my God, you're brilliant. I love this. I thought maybe that was your inspiration.
I love that attitude about farts, and I want to watch that. That is absolutely hilarious. Recording a fart every morning, because that morning farts are pretty beefy. I get pretty loud, scary, beefy farts in the morning.
Yeah. And they're gonna change as you get older. Are you in your 20s? You in your early 20s? I never ask a young lady their age, but let me just tell you that if you're in your early 20s, they're gonna evolve. Then in your 30s, I think in your 30s is like, that's like the height of your farting capabilities. You have like the most control over them. You kind of know what foods make you do what, and then I'm not trying to scare you, but in your 40s, just all I want to say is enjoy Taco Bell right now. Enjoy all the Taco Bell you want, because in your 40s, there will come a day, and this is just what I tell my friends. The last time I had Taco Bell was the first time I shat myself.
Oh, no. What?
So Taco Bell is not something you get to enjoy your whole life.
Sick in age, and I go to Taco Bell. You know what? I could have gone my entire life without you telling me that, because now in 3.5 years from now, whenever I turn 40, I'm going to be thinking about that when I go out for my Taco Bell free birthday gift meal.
Well, I'm telling you,
and then I'm going to think about that as I go to a second Taco Bell of the night, which is something I do often, and get 4.
What's your order at Taco Bell?
4 cheesy roll-ups and a cheesy bean and rice burrito. Oh man, that's going to be.
I'm telling you this because I don't have a lot of money. What's that?
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
So my order when I don't have a lot of money and I'm using like car change is 3 cheesy roll-ups, 1 or 2 cheesy bean and rice burritos, and then a large cup of water. And but then if I'm like feeling really spendy and I have some extra cash, I get one of the boxes, like I don't know, the chalupa boxes or whatever with the soda pop, and then maybe some Cinnarolls or whatever those are called, cinnamon twists.
Those are
Oh
good. I
God.
love those. Those are
Oh.
good. Those are good.
Sometimes, sometimes depending on the Taco Bell you go to and the year you go, the cinnamon twist tastes like chemicals, but also sometimes that taste is pretty good. So I don't know.
Hey, don't you hate when you get that kind of like eye roll from the person when you ask for the cup of water? Like they're like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like they look at me a little bit condescending when I like order a bunch of stuff. Oh, and a cup of water. And they're like, really?
I totally I can, even when I can't see them, I could feel the eye roll coming through the thing, the speaker. It's like,
Yeah.
because I always order a large water, and they remind me to, they're like, just letting you know, the water is $1 extra if it's large. And I'm like, yeah, listen, I'm dehydrated. I'm about to eat 5 burritos off your dollar menu. I realize those burritos have various animals in them, some that I found in the alley behind my house. So you know what? That's why I need an extra large water.
Oh man.
saying?
I knew this conversation was going to be so much fun. I was so excited about this
Yeah, so we
conversation.
talk about farts.
We talked about farts. We talked about Taco Bell, and now I know I said I
I,
did not. I know I said I did not have an agenda, but I knew I was going to work my way over to this. Let's leave the farts behind us, and let's remember that Taco Bell is something you got to cherish right now. It's not always going to be there for you, but something that I feel has been there
I
for you
will.
your whole life. Let's talk about the music of Hanson, and when did that start? How did it start?
Yeah.
And how has it blossomed? And how many times?
Okay. Oh man, Hanson. So I fell in love with Hanson back in 1997 when I was 12 years old. And I was also diagnosed with major OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, around the same time. And I chose to focus my mental illness / obsession on the band Hanson. And I've seen them, like, I joke about seeing them like 70 or so times. I've only seen Hanson perform live maybe like 10 times, but I've met them a bunch, and that was exciting. Um, but yeah, my friends and I, we traveled to Tulsa, Oklahoma years ago because Hanson's from Tulsa, and every year they celebrate Hanson Day. So we
What?
flew out to Tulsa for Hanson Day, and we, yeah, they we got to hang out with them. We got to go on a walk with them. Like, all the Hanson fans went on a walk with them. It was interesting. Um, we went to their concerts. My friends and I, we all covered our entire rooms and ceilings in Hanson posters. Um, yeah, we were all very, very obsessed with them. We just had a thing for those sexy boys with long hair.
Now, let me
and
ask you this.
and we would
When
get in fights with our friends, like, just, arguments.
defending them, when you first started listening to Hanson, was one of them more your age than the other one? Like where were you like in age correlation to the Hanson brothers? Because like one's really young. Well, now they're all kind of older, right? But did you have a favorite Hanson, and did the favorite Hanson evolve over the years? Like once you hit like a certain age, you're like, oh, I'm over him. I'm onto this one now.
That's funny that you mentioned that. Taylor Hanson was my favorite. He was the middle Hanson. He was the sexiest. He was the lead singer. And I had a big old thing for him. I wrote him a long love note when I was 13 years old. I mailed it to him. Not sure where I mailed it to, but I mailed it somewhere. I did not put my return address on it, which is still very depressing. I'm sad about that. But yeah, he was my favorite. he was known as like the heartthrob of the group. And then after he had like 7 or 8 or 9 kids, I think he had like his 10th kid last week.
What?
I kind of yeah, they all have a ton of kids. It's like a big old Hanson like compound. It's crazy. But now Zach Hanson, the youngest, the drummer, he's kind of Taylor's always in my heart. He's always, you know, a sexy, soulful kind of guy. But Zach has moved on to the heartthrob in my world. Damn, that boy's a damn.
How did you get to meet them? Did they have meet and greets, or did you like win radio contests, or how did you get to do that?
Yeah, so my friend and the first time we met them, okay, hold on a second. You're okay, you paused for a second, but you're back. Okay. First time we met them, my friend and I called the radio. It was a radio contest. We called in to win backstage passes because we were already going to the concert. And we were talking to these guys on the radio, and they were like, hey, do you guys want to make out with us when you meet us? And we were like 20, 21 years old, and we were like, yeah. And then we won the contest, and then we found out when we listened to that broadcast a few minutes later that we were actually talking with Hanson. So we were like, oh my God, we're talking with Taylor about making out with him. Holy shit. And that didn't end up happening. We got to meet them because we won the passes. And then a few years later, I won because I was in the Hanson fan club, and I entered to win meet and greets for a concert in Tucson, Arizona. And I won the meet and greets, but I also won I won the chance to interview them at the concert. So I got to go backstage with them before their show and ask them a bunch of questions. It was like 10 years ago. I don't remember what I asked them. They recorded the interview on their phone. So somewhere Hanson has a recording of me on their phone. I don't know if they still have it. And yeah, I didn't get to make any babies with them, but you know, they have enough.
Yeah. It would have just been another number to them. It wouldn't have been special.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? Just another band member.
It'd be like,
or another
oh, look, there's the cute curly haired baby. That must be mine, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It might be like one of they all probably have a cute curly hair baby somewhere, but you know, that's from my old days. I don't remember those days.
Oh man, that's so much fun. Hey, we're gonna bring it in, get a little bit serious now. We're gonna get Mark Maron on this podcast now.
Oh shit.
Nah, not too dark. I love Mark Maron though, by the way.
Me too.
Were you this good at all of the video stuff pre-pandemic, or is this all stuff that you had to teach yourself, going on Zoom, going on Facebook Live, YouTube Live? Was this all stuff that you taught yourself once the pandemic started, or were you already doing stuff like this before?
I wasn't doing live stuff like live streaming or Zoom, but I was doing a lot of like video editing for my own like animations and just like silly, like just comedy videos. I would just film myself for Instagram and YouTube. So I've done that for a long time, but yeah, I think it was easy for me to jump into like the Zoom comedy world and live streaming and stuff because I enjoy being at home. I enjoy being away from people and, you know, not going out in public even before COVID. So it was a nice transition for me to go to video stuff.
Yeah,
that's what I love.
Some people really embrace the transition, and I guess you were ready for it, right? Well, already had done some of it.
Hold on, you're
Well,
sorry, you were paused, but you're back.
Okay, yeah, my internet's kind of I hate it. So some people were ready for the transition and we're ready to embrace it, and others were kind of hesitant to it because like we're still like there's still some comedy hangers on saying, oh, I'm never going to do a Zoom show. It's not the same, but it isn't the same. It's its own thing, right?
Yeah, it's totally different. And I think I definitely understand the expectation of going into a Zoom show thinking like, oh, it's this is supposed to be like regular stand-up. I guess it will be. And it's not. And I remember when I did my first Zoom show, I think it might have been a Skype show. I almost canceled on it right before because I was like, this is weird. This is really weird. I don't want to do this. And I was nervous. And then I realized like, oh, I can still hear people laughing. The laughter's, it's kind of hard to hear. There's not much because I think everyone's kind of hesitant. But yeah, and because I'm always in my room anyway. I spend like all day long in my room and, working on cartoons and stuff. So it's like, it's nice, like getting, you can go a week without showering if you want and you look gorgeous on Zoom. I'm not recommending anyone do that. I'm just saying it's
been done.
It's nice.
No, I've been there.
Yeah.
I know exactly. Yeah. I took a sink shower. I took a sink shower right before this podcast and like comb my hair, did the thing, put some lotion on my face. And I was like, oh, I'm presentable. I look like I showered. But I didn't. It's just, I showered.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when I showered last. It doesn't, because we all look
like
good
a month ago, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. We all no, the dog would not be this cuddly with me if I hadn't showered. Like the dog would be like, oh, look, she's still there. Look at her. Look, she's.
Oh, puppy.
Yeah, I don't know what she's gonna do when I have to go back to work at the office. I was like, we have been inseparable since March when they sent us home from work one day. Like, luckily I never stopped working. We just transitioned to work from home, and we have not been apart more than, the couple of hours that I go out every once in a while. I go get some essentials. So hopefully
she's so sweet.
Yeah, she's a good girl. She's a spoiled.
Hi. Look at that face. Little pee.
She's a spoiled only child, which is like, I mean, if you're only going to have one kid, you should spoil them.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
And she's adorable, so she needs to be spoiled.
Yeah. How long had you been doing stand-up before all of this started?
I think about 5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years in improv and then 5 years in stand-up.
So you don't, I don't know how to phrase this. Like, what do you love more? Like, is it like, where are you going? Because like you do so much. It's like I like, some people like only do stand up. Some people only do improv, right? It's like kind of, you're like dipping your toes in a lot of different waters. Where are you going? What direction? Or do you not have a direction? What's your goals?
Thank you. I have no idea. I just know I want to be famous. I mean, that's my thing. I want to be appreciated. I want to create stuff that makes people laugh and smile and go, fuck her, I hate her, I want to see more, so I want that. I don't know how. I should probably have a plan. I just know, pre-COVID, it was like, oh, I want to be like Eliza Schlesinger. I want to tour all the time. I want to do this. And then now it's like, oh, well, I want to be like, I love the podcasts, H3 or Your Mom's House, or just any sort of podcast. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I wanted to be something like that. But yeah, I should probably plan things out. I'm getting old, man. I'm getting old. I have no idea.
I think, okay, let me give you a fan's perspective of you, right? Okay. So,
thank
you. It's like you see people that are always on, that are always creating content, right? And so like right away to me, you were like, oh, she's one of those girls that's always creating content, right? But then like also like the cynical part of me is like, okay, yeah, sometimes those people, the content, they're just throwing content out like, oh, here's some content, here's some content, right? But I quickly caught myself like, hold on, that was kind of funny. What did she say? Hold on, wait. And then I caught myself to where like, when I would join Tara's Russian roulette mic, right? I always scan the room. I'm like, oh, like, well, with me, it's always like, oh, Jackie's here. Oh, Danny's here, because I know them. Like, we're all Sacramento comics. But then it started to get like, oh, cool, Sharita's here. Oh, cool, Bon Traeger's here. Oh, cool, that Dana chick's here, And so like you're always putting out content. And this is something I love to tease one of my really good friends, Carolyn the comic. She's in Tennessee now, but she was a huge TikToker. And I was like, Carolyn, I love like 75% of the stuff you put up. And she would just get like hung up on like, well, what 25% don't you like? I'm like, dude, nobody's fucking perfect, right? Like, but you're
Yeah.
throwing out all kinds of content, and like I really enjoy watching it. And like that's kind of like where I am with you, is like, oh, she does a podcast, oh, she does this, oh, she does this. Well, I'm gonna watch it. So like I rarely skip your stories. um
Oh,
I
thank
and I
you.
and I'm just like, she's funny. I should have her on the podcast. And here we are. So
Thank you so much. That makes me so happy. And because yeah, that's you know, I want people to, watch all my stories and comment and stuff and like my stuff because it is different. It's weird. It can be very weird. It can be very Lip Biscuit, Hanson focused, but it's still fun. And also, I was so excited when you asked me to do the podcast because I think it was in the Zoom show, and you said like during your set, you were like, I'm going to ask one of you to be on my podcast. I'm not going to say who. And I was like, it might be me. Is it going to be me? And then I saw your message. I was like, boom. Yeah. And
yeah, I'd been wanting to ask you for a couple of weeks, but I also like, I don't like asking people cold because like we need something to talk about, like
yeah.
I'm not that good of a podcaster where I could just pick up and have a conversation with anybody, you know. And there's a couple other people in there that I want to talk to. Tara, I wanted to talk to Tara right away because when I was doing her mic, I started like scrolling through her Facebook to see like if I needed to riff on her. If I have to riff on you, and let me at least let me bring a gun to this gunfight, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that Tara and I both grew up in Bakersfield, and
Oh, shit.
yeah, Bakersfield is a great town, but it does get a lot of bad attention. But I mean, there is some kind of crazy stuff going on here. Very, very red town.
Ooh.
I don't even want to talk about politics, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, let's not even go there. There's so much good stuff to talk about. Like, why do we need to focus on the bad stuff? Like, just fucking
Yeah.
vote, and don't be a dick. That's all I say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, would what's Arizona like? Because I know that Arizona, like just from in the news, it's like it was bad. Like the COVID like shut it down. Is your area still shut down? Is there underground mics going on? Is there little quiet mics? Is it safe? Is it not safe? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
There's still shows happening. Arizona, or at least Phoenix, where I live, didn't shut down for they shut down for a while. One club stayed open the whole time. And but now I think since maybe September or October, smaller shows have started to pick up again. The comedy clubs are opening again. I mean, whether they should or not, I don't know. I'm not gonna go.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Us.
we had
Right.
like 12,000 cases of COVID one day. Yeah, but and I love all the clubs, and but yeah, there've been a lot of open mics, ones that were happening before COVID. They started coming back, and I went to a few up until I I stopped doing shows at the from like March until June or July, and then
Mm-hmm.
cases went down in Arizona, so I started doing we have a club, House of Comedy here, so I did like some of their mics and stuff, and then I did the occasional open mic. We have some cool ones in downtown Phoenix, but now it's I live with my parents and they're old as fuck, so it's like I have to I have to be careful. And but yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of shows. Are people masked? No, not everyone's masked. Honestly, I mean, if I didn't live with my parents, I'd probably be super irresponsible and go to shows every night, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
irresponsible even? I don't know.
I don't know. I was telling a friend of mine a couple of days ago, because like I've been pretty responsible this whole time. I go to the grocery store. I stopped like the last show I did was like March 12th or something like that. When it, like, I think right about the time
Wow.
frame you're saying, there's an open mic that I was able to go to a couple of times because they were having it outside. Um, and I talked to the host beforehand. I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I bring my own microphone?" He's like, "No, that's cool. Bring your own mic." There was a couple of like outdoor open mics where they were providing microphone condoms. But even there,
Oh,
like
nice.
I was bringing my own mic. So there was a couple of mics that seemed safe, you know. But
Yeah.
like I said, I was telling a friend of mine just the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm a little bit envious of these handful of folks that just fucking never shut down, never stopped doing anything, just kept going, never got sick. I'm like, I guess I'm living vicariously through them. I'm not saying that they did the right thing or they did the wrong thing, but I was like, good for them. You know, I'm glad that not that some people are gonna they just kept going. They kept doing them, you know, and more power to them.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was a right or wrong thing, it's not for me to say, right? But good for them, you know. But at
Yeah.
least
Good for, oh, sorry. Yeah.
go
Good
for it.
for,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
good for them. Good for them. And also, fuck you. You guys are taking all the good opportunities. God damn it. Yeah. And, but no, I mean, I think like a lot of the people that I know of who are still doing shows, they just seem like super healthy people overall.
Mm-hmm.
Like fitness, I don't know. Like, I don't know a damn thing about health or viruses or how any of that stuff works, but it seems like these are the kind of people who don't get sick anyway. So maybe it's like that kind of confidence and they're like, I'm not going to get sick at all. So I don't know. A lot of my friends are doing shows and I was doing shows with them and I wish I were still doing shows with them. And as soon as I get that vaccine, well, I'm going to perform and go to a Limp Bizkit concert in Russia or wherever they perform. I'm going to do it all.
I saw
Maybe not.
I follow on Instagram. I follow or overheard in LA and overheard in LA and they said the other day, man, I can't wait to put hashtag vaccinated on my dating profiles. And I thought that was super funny.
Oh my God. That's true. Yeah, your dating profiles are just on Insta or like vaccinated 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
My
vaccinated.
body is
I'm ready.
ready.
I'm
Something
ready
like
for the
that.
hoedown. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, I'm ready for the bang of the century.
right. 2021 is going to be buck wild. Watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out for 2021. Um,
Oh,
but I think
I
like,
know.
I mean, I'm grateful for this time because like it really like it forced me to learn how to do a lot of stuff that I've been putting on, like all of this stuff. Like I was hosting a podcast in my living room, you know. And I really I miss it because it would be like my Saturday morning, like, you know, I would invite folks over and we'd have coffee and we'd do a podcast, we'd smoke a joint,
Oh,
we'd play with the dog, we'd listen to records and we'd go on our merry way. And like when that stopped, like I put my podcast equipment away like from March until June. But
wow.
one of our friends, well, Danny DeLuca, well, I don't know if you're friends with her,
Oh
but
yeah, she's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, Danny D, she hosts a podcast and they right away, like the first week, like transitioned over to Zoom and started, and they never stopped. Like they never stopped. And they were kind of like my inspiration to like, just, okay, let me figure out this Zoom thing. And her host, Nick Johnson, like answered every question for me that I had. Like, I was like, how are you doing it? And he would respond like, try this, do this. And he watched my first couple and said like, do this. And I was off and running, you know?
That's awesome. And yeah, that's a great thing about the scene is that everyone's helping each other and the people who adapted quickly or have been willing to like give advice to other comics and stuff. And that's super helpful because like microphones, equipment, all that stuff, I don't know how any of that crap works. Like I didn't know, I still don't understand live streaming. Like, I mean, I do it, but I don't understand how the hell that happens.
Oh, we know what I bit from you this week is what I was.
Oh,
She my little chin chin.
oh.
You know what? An idea I stole from you this week. Well, I see a few people doing it. Is I set up my link tree on my Instagram profile because
Hell yeah.
like before I was just like putting a link to my YouTube page, but then I was like, God, I wish I could also put a link to my, like I was going back and forth, like I would change the links all the time, and then I saw that you had a link tree. Then I saw another. I was like, oh, this is how you do it, you know.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I'm also going to copy your thing of the Amazon wish list too. What do you have on it? Did you have a bunch of audio equipment on there? I think I looked at it.
No, right now, because that's we give that out usually on the Fart Talk live stream. So I'll I have like a few fart books. My co-host Lex, she has like some stuff on there. Like I think she has like a barnyard door on hers or some sort of like big like furniture stuff. I have like nail polish and like farty snacks. But that's awesome because I only got my link tree maybe like like a month ago because Lex, my co-host, she had one, and I've learned a lot of stuff from her, like because I was having the same issues, like, oh, do I need to change my link in my bio every time? And but yeah, I love Linktree because you can switch like the order of links. So like if you update your YouTube, then you can put the YouTube on top, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, it's a really cool tool, and I saw that you're using it, and I was like, I need to do this because I want to be cool like Dana. So I
Oh, well,
did
you
it.
are cool.
I
Yeah, and if you have like I seriously I steal knowledge from other people, and you can steal whatever knowledge you want, man.
not knowledge has been stolen. Knowledge has been gotten. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
definitely. What what do you got coming up? I might put this up tonight. If not, I'm for sure putting it up tomorrow. What do you got coming up in the next couple of weeks? What are you working on?
Well, we're doing our next Fart Talk live stream on Wednesday. I think that's the 30th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We do it on YouTube. The link is in my Instagram, Dana Whissen. Um, I don't have any shows planned right now. I've just been doing daily Zooms, trying to get like content from like the improvised mics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just Fart Talk on Instagram and Dana Whiston on Instagram. I post all my crazy stuff there and my YouTube and all that good stuff.
Are you gonna do the New Year's Eve Russian roulette?
I signed up for it. I'm not sure if I can still do it, but hopefully I'll be there. I'll probably be there tomorrow, definitely.
Yeah, the Sunday
I
afternoon
love that
one.
show.
Yeah, yeah, I love the
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon one. That's always like, I usually set like a goal for myself of like, okay, you need to be done editing your podcast so that you could join the Sunday afternoon mic and just enjoy yourself, because like usually by that point I've been working on podcasts for a bunch of hours. So um really shout out one more time to Tara for doing that Russian roulette, because it has allowed me to meet cool people like you and all of these other hilarious comics. And I really love doing these Zoom mics because I never would have been able to have you on a podcast. Like, you know, it would have been like, oh, if you're ever in Sacramento, you know, but with these Zoom mics, we're able to
Yeah,
do this fun stuff.
that's what I love. Yeah, like being able to, it's like we're able to perform across the country without ever leaving our house. Like I've always wanted to perform on like a Chicago show, and now by doing Zoom, you can do that. And you know, it's definitely weird for some people and it doesn't work all the time, but it's still fun. And I'm super glad I got to meet you and Tara and everyone in the mics, and I hope we do them for a long time, like even after COVID and stuff goes back to normal. If it does, I hope Zoom continues to be a big part of like comedy.
Were you traveling a lot for comedy before this era?
No, I never have. I've only done stand up in Arizona. I think I've only done stand up and improv in Arizona. I that it was my goal to maybe like this year or next year to start traveling to like Colorado, definitely California because I'm right next door, and then maybe like Vegas because there's some cool comics and shows up there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't traveling or anything before. Were you?
No, I was not. I was about to do my first San Francisco show. I'd only done California.
Ooh.
I had just done like my first show in Chico, which is all Northern California stuff. I had just done I've only been
Okay.
doing stand up for about when COVID hit, I was at about the 18-month mark of stand up.
Wow.
And I had just done my first show in Chico. It had went really well. I had done all of the local clubs in Sacramento, and I was about to do Punchline San Francisco, and we got shut down. We got shut down the week before. But even the week before that, like the 2 weeks before that, was nothing but like, oh my God, is it going to happen? What's going on? Like, how serious is this? So I'm looking forward to doing some traveling after this. If you ever come to California, I got an air mattress in a living room for you and some good coffee. And
and you got a dog?
And I got a dog. Yeah. Well, and we always got good weed. So anytime you're in Northern California, we got a living room and an air mattress for you to crash on. So I definitely want to hit Seattle.
Oh, hell yeah.
I want to hit Seattle and go up and visit Tara.
And you,
I want to hit Arizona too. So I'm gonna hit you up.
I would love to visit you. I would love to visit Tara, and you. Yeah, definitely. Like you. Have you ever been to Phoenix?
No, I've never been to Arizona. I've been to like Colorado. I've been to.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been to. I think like I had like a flight layover in Phoenix. No, never been.
Okay.
But
I hope you get a chance to come out here once comedy comes back, because we have a great scene here, and we, like, with all the clubs and stuff, comics in Phoenix get a lot of opportunities that a lot of other comics in other states might not get because we have so many clubs. And I don't know, it's just a really great scene. And now we have the psychedelic show, the Tom Baum. I think he's going to be doing a psychedelic show here once a month where the comics take psychedelics and then perform.
Yeah, he does that in Vegas right now.
I haven't done that one yet, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah, he does it in Vegas.
Yeah.
Danny D has done it. Like Danny D's done it. I think Jackie's done it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the other dudes. Anyway,
hell yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to come back and it's going to be good. And I think we could, right now, we can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And we're definitely we're almost there. We're almost there.
Yeah.
But Dana, thank you for spending some time with me this Saturday morning. And I will plug all your socials for you. And I look forward to seeing you down the road.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. This has been so much fun. It's nice meeting your puppy. I think I met her before when you did the Russian roulette show. She was your little parrot on your shoulder.
Yeah, it sounds like her.
But yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah, thanks. I'll get this up.
I'll probably see you tomorrow on Tara's mic.
For sure. All right. Thanks, Dana.
Sweet.
All right.